The last 25 years tell a positive story about development progress. In 2010, 700 million fewer people lived in conditions of extreme poverty than in 1990. It's a long road, but the end of poverty seems within reach by 2030. But the road has just got much steeper. This generation may see devastating climate change within their lifetime. Scientific projections show that weather events considered extreme today are likely to become commonplace by 2050. The Overseas Development Institute assessed the evidence to discover what these changes will mean for the crucial things that affect people's lives. Things like food, water, health, education, equality, and peace. So what can be said about the future? It's not good news. People who are just breaking free of the barriers of inequality and exclusion, who are escaping the trap of extreme poverty, may well be forced back there by climate change. Sea level rises will reduce land used for agriculture in many heavily populated deltas in Bangladesh, China, Egypt, India, and Southeast Asia. In dry lands across the world, crop yields will decrease in the next few decades. And in Africa, wheat production is likely to disappear altogether by the 2080s. Within 20 years, we could see up to 200 million more go hungry. In the last 20 years, 2.1 billion people have had their access to drinking water improved. But by 2030, changes in rainfall patterns will mean that for millions of people, perhaps even billions, access to water could become a lot more difficult. Climate change will threaten the great improvements that have been made to people's health. As just one example, an extra 2.5 billion people could be at risk of dengue fever in the next 50 years. As well as affecting people's access to food, water, and health, there are other ways in which climate change will affect people's lives. Disasters such as droughts will make life precarious, even impossible, for millions of people. As a result, migration is likely to increase, interrupting schooling for children and young people, and reducing their opportunities to make a living. What affects people affects the economy. By the end of the century, the world is likely to see economic losses of between 5 and 20% of global GDP each year due to climate change. If we want to eliminate poverty and leave no one behind, we need to get serious about climate change. The good news is, it's not too late. In 2015, the international community will come together to negotiate the next steps for addressing both climate change and development. This year is the chance to get it right. Action on climate change is development.